All right, here we are again.
One to go, bud.
Man, I tell you what, if the racetrack's a good racetrack, but the people run so close together at speed-wise, a tenth of a second from the last place to first, nobody can pass anybody. I mean,
except the 12 car.
Well, the 12 car had them all out.
Yeah, he had them out.
If he catch them, he couldn't get on the inside. He just passed them on the outside.
His car would cut so good no matter where it was at, Richard. But I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
How many other drivers could have took that car and won the race?
I don't know. The way it was, he did it.
Well, I get that.
Well, they probably could have. Okay. Yeah, but the car was that good.
Yeah.
But he drove it good.
But it was kind of tuned to his style, too. You know, that's what I'm preaching now, or trying to preach. And maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it might not have handled for somebody else. You're right.
That's what I'm saying, and their driving style.
The race really didn't even get interesting to me until, 50 laps to go, when them guys was in the back trying to catch up. 12 was trying to catch the 9 car, all of them.
And 3 or 4 cars stayed out, including ours, for gas mileage, and it bit them, but it didn't hurt the 43 because we keep up with it better than anything because he finished right where he had raced all day long.
That's where he'd run all day. And the big deal, if they'd had some cautions, they might have been able to make the race. You mean? They probably wouldn't have stopped. They'd have probably stayed out there and tried to stretch their gas mileage.
And it was a new tire. It was a different tire from what they'd ever run.
The tires were really too good, okay?
Yeah, I guess.
Because they did because they didn't drop off like they usually do. Yeah. And most of the time when they drop off, then them guys can't stay out there. They have to stop and get tires. So it would have changed the race completely with a different tire.
But the stages, again, changed the race.
Oh, yeah, it made a whole different deal.
Because we was a lap down before the first stage, and then there was a caution with 30 laps of the stage. All the leaders come in and got tires. We stayed out, come around, and didn't get relapped.
Right.
And
that kept all of 30 of them in the same lap.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But like you said, the really disappointing deal was the Hendricks cars because they usually dominate up there. And, I mean, with the 24 and the 48 drivers before, I mean, they was winning every other race. And this really...
and the 5 too, of course.
Well, the 5 usually runs pretty good, but he didn't run good at all. And the 11 car was the second best car.
Exactly.
He wound up third because the way the 10 made their pit stops and stuff, they had their strategy because he was running.
Their
10th.
Strategy paid off.
He was running 10th or 12th. Yeah. He ran good all day, but then he got up in the front and was able to maintain his speed.
Next year's 75 years of Petty racing. Have you ever seen the pace car give out? And it probably don't want to be researched.
I seen a wrecker out there as a pace car.
Was that ugly?
It's going to be interesting this coming weekend at Phoenix, because of the people that you got racing have all run 2 or 3 races. You mean?
Yeah.
So, like the 24 run terrible yesterday. I think he ran just trying to keep his point standard.
Yeah, he
just did get in.
Just did get in. And 11 done everything he could do. For him to get in, he'd had to win the race.
He had to win the race, yeah.
And he was third. And
well, if the 12 had just finished good, he would have got in.
Yeah, he was going to get in. He had a cushion. But watching the race, of course, me and you get caught up on watching the 43 and who we're racing and everything, but the announcers and the program's all about the championship now.
They didn't even talk about the race.
No,
they kept
points,
keeping up with the points.
And
this guy passed him, and he gained 2 points, or all this stuff.
And they use the same word we use a lot. If there's a caution,
really,
there's a caution.
As boring as the race was, as bad as the race, that's about all they had to talk about.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But can you believe the crowd, Richard?
No, they had a good crowd. A perfect day. Everything was really good.
We was lucky enough to be in a cool suite, and I know it was hot out there, but they was people still trying to get in after the race started.
But I noticed that some of them guys, when the race was over, the drivers were just completely exhausted. You mean
Exactly.
But you're down in that hole. There's no
Yeah.
wind going on. Even they got air conditioning and all that. It still gets pretty dang hot in them race cars.
And the extra pressure.
Well, on a lot of them, yes.
Okay. 2 Chevrolets, a Toyota,
And a Ford. That ought to make it interesting, okay?
Who do you
Are you predicting anything?
Well, it's like everything else. You predict the previous winner because he was on top of the game. But if you look back, the first race this year, the 24 car won.
Okay.
But last year, when the 22 won the championship, him and the 12 dominated the race, so that was Ford. And the first race this year, I think the 4 car, which was a Ford, was just slowly coming through the field,
Right.
and a late caution
Really messed him up.
messed
Yeah.
him up, and I think he wound up 5th. So I don't know, but getting back to Martinsville, the top 10 qualifiers, there's only one Chevrolet in the top 10, and most of the time that kind of tells you something
Yeah,
too.
it really does. But most of the time they run good up there, like I say. And it was just, the deal was that they just couldn't pass. They got no power, and they changing gears, all this kind of. The driver stays pretty dang busy just making a lap by himself.
Yeah. But they'd throw the green flag on these restarts, and they'd run about 5 laps, just bunched up side by side. Then all of a sudden, everybody would get to the inside, and they'd be a solid stream of cars around. It was like a chain link fence
It's
around
like a
the
super
racetrack.
speedway, though. Everybody just got in line and run.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
I'll be on my couch, and you'll be somewhere out there.
I'll be there checking it all out, so I'll let you know what happens when I get home.
I'll probably know more than you know
Well, you
watching it
probably-
on television.
Yeah, you see more on TV than you can. They keep up with it a little bit better because it gets so confusing to me who stopped, who didn't stop when I'm sitting there watching it in person. And you
Well,
know,
yeah, it was really confusing Sunday, because and that we preached it all year. The different paint schemes.
Well, me and you can't see as good as we used to either.
Speak for yourself.
Well, you got glasses on. I hadn't.
You need them.
Maybe I need them.
Okay, bud.
All right.
Good luck on your trip this week.
We'll see you next week, okay?
Yeah, buddy.